Okay, now it's time to install the woofer. Same way as before. That's the wire for the mid-range that we don't have here anymore. Yeah? It's dinner time? Okay, I'm coming. What did I do with the other camera? Oh, left it up there. Just run this all the way around. Yep. Oh, you guys, this trim ring that they manufactured is amazing. Perfect. Yeah, because the speaker doesn't come like this with the foam and the whole deal. Sound and Motion does all that. It's all custom fabrication. It's awesome. That's why as soon as I saw some of their stuff, photos, I'm like, I gotta have that. Exactly what I'm looking for. Alright. It's all in here. Boom, boom, boom. If I'd known there was just a bunch of room, I should start. Alright, I'm really back now. Dinner. Alright. So first, let's strip the factory wires. Again, I'm supposed to be soldering this, but I'm cheaping out here. It'll take forever for me to solder. Actually, it'd probably be quicker, but okay. 2 puppies are on there. So I don't forget my darn shrink wrap again. Let me put it on first. If it fits. Doesn't. Just don't forget. Don't let me forget. So this one is black to brown. See, this is a good length. Okay. My shrink wrap on. I mean, the shrink wrap probably isn't necessary. It just makes it look good. Make sure that nothing gets in there and makes it look finished. And this is the first time I've ever used it in life. Okay. Brown goes to black. Do this without cutting other wires. There's one. Tug on it, make sure it's good. Red goes to red and gray and red. Bingo, done. Picture. Slide my shrink wrap. Lighter. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong here. You guys can yell at me later, but this around the edge. Tuck this all the way over. Do the same thing I did the other one. Tuck this up here like this. This around the foam. Just tuck it up here. I'm going to leave the labels on, like I said. It'll be easier if I ever ditch this system. Tuck this in there. And these two zip tie. All this mess. So what I'm going to do is tuck this in here. In the center. Do this one a little differently than I did the last one. The foam will keep it from getting vibrating. Have this up here. Bingo. Okay, let's put the door panel back on and then we can get cranking on the other stuff. This is great. Oh, I almost forgot to plug this in. Good, 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 good. We'll get the door panel. Okay, everything's hooked up. Up here, all the way to the edge. Uh-oh, it's a little funky here. Go. It's in. Put the bolts in. Torx bolts or Torx nuts or whatever the heck they're called. Screws. Remember, there's 4 of these. If it feels a little flimsy up here, that's because there's 2 bolts to go over there. Must not be hitting. Not. Aligned it perfectly. Try this first. I mean, it's crazy, this car. Like, I don't even have to adjust anything to put it back on. It just goes. There's no like room for error. It just fits. Although, I seem to be having trouble fitting it in this hole. Going on here. Come on. There we go. I think. Yeah. One. Remember, this stuff is plastic, so you don't need to go crazy on the torque. Unless you want to crack something. Shoot, keep doing that. All right, put these pieces back in, and we got the speakers in. Excuse me. Come on. No, that's not how it goes. I got it stuck. Thing you have to push up against it. Get it to fit. Careful not to. There we go. There's that. Airbag cover. Snaps on nicely. I need to pull this piece back off with something. Get it to fit. There we go. I have to do some serious leather cleanup. All right, doors are done. Okay, guys. This is the part that requires a little bit of intelligence. Well, sort of. But Sound and Motion pretty much set us up with this, or me up with this. Now, the suggestion was, let me get a better wire cutter here. The suggestion is that you don't, now the negative is disconnected, but you don't cut these all at once. You gotta cut them one at a time. That way you're not doing any sort of crossing up wires. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually leave this thing in here, so I'm only gonna cut the ones that I need. Better if I get down here on the ground so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so I need gray. See, I need brown, purple. See, I know I need red. There's red, yellow. There's brown, yellow. I know I need those. So this is the, I believe to be low level output from the PCM. All right, so red, yellow, brown, yellow. I need gray and brown gray. So I'm gonna leave the rears or the centered connected so I don't have to do it later. There's gray and brown gray. Okay. And I need blue, white, and brown, white. There's brown, white, blue, white. Okay. Then brown, purple, and yellow, purple. And it only leaves there's brown, purple, and yellow. Brown and yellow. So that only leaves, that leaves the center channel connected. I'm just gonna cut the whole frickin' thing off. Just as easy to reconnect the whole thing later if I needed to. So I'm leaving a little bit of wire so I could easily resolder this back together if I, wanted to go back to stock for selling the car or something. So there's your connector. So now all of these are going to connect to this. So I don't have a whole heck of a lot of slack. What I'm going to do is cut this thing off, pull this thing off, this tape off. Okay, so this is the output from the PCM to going to the input on the Moscone, the DSP, the digital signal processor. So it's going to convert all this, these 6 separate inputs. I'm only inputting 4, so we're only using 4 of the channels to get us 8-volt out to the amplifier. Screw soldering. I'm just going to connect these all. And I need to cut this off too. There's power. Again, the battery's disconnected, so should be all right. That's 12 volt. There's ground. And these are the speaker outputs. So I can cut all these together because they're speakers. Oops. Shouldn't have cut that one so short. Crap. I'll figure that out when it happens. I gotta do something about it. Okay, let me trim this back. He's way too sharp. Keep cutting my freaking wires. I'm taking off these factory brackets. Just think of all the positivity I get to save a little bit more weight. Nope, I'm taking these, yeah. There's number one. There's number two. So these were the factory mounting brackets for the factory amp. We don't need anymore. We're just gonna put some silicone down to fix this to the bottom of the car. Not something super tight, something we can just pop loose, but it'll keep it from bouncing around. Smart if I just got this out of the way. Okay. Get all these little brackets off the car. We can slide that thing in when we're ready to go. So we'll need that.
Daddy!
Yeah?
Kate's doing something so bad.
What?
She went in the shower with her clothes.
Oh no.
And Mommy's saying no so loud.
Because she's already clean?
Now she's in the shower and she's getting soaking wet.
That's funny.
You might want to see her.
She crawled right in there?
Yeah, she wants Mom. And she crawled right in the shower. I'll go back.
There we go. If I turn that will make plenty of room then. Becoming like a regular mechanic. Figuring stuff out. Yeah, I probably don't want to secure this yet. Because I gotta get the RCAs connected. Come on, it's holding me up here. Is in this corner. go. Actually, I think I can secure it now. All right, guys, so I got this dialed in. Use a little bit of Gorilla Glue, this sort of foamy stuff. Should hopefully doesn't lock it in here for life. So just put a little bit of glue on these circle high spots. I need to try to get this back in there, not make it a huge mess. We'll see how that goes. All right, guys, back to work. Oops. All right. So now these others, blue, green, and purple, I'm not going to use. So what I'll do here, I'll probably just put a shrink wrap over top of them. Okay. All right. So I got these all. Now I need to strip these. Need to be real careful because there's not a lot of slack. I'm sure I could find some slack if I started tearing this apart. All right, so these two are going to the amplifier, so I'm not going to be using those. These are my inputs. Tweeter. So these, where's my, I feel like I'm missing something here. Ah, there it is. I knew I was missing something. These two gray, this green, and this purple. This red. So these are my inputs. Or output from the PCM to input here. First thing, this is like 20 gauge wire, so I need to be careful with this. Not careful, but I just don't want to cut it any shorter than it already is. I have the choice. That green one I don't need. That's the center channel. And we're using the two rear channels for the subwoofer. You know, and then the DSP will tune out the higher frequencies. But we've got to get some sort of signal to the Moscone in order for it to process it. All right, brown and blue. All right, so here's my diagram. So actually, let me put connectors on the end of this first. Don't let me forget to put the darn shrink wrap on. I always forget that. I think these should be sufficient for all of this. Little red ones. Yeah. So I'm going to crimp all these on, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what we're doing next. Let's do the green. So gray, let's do the gray. Turn one on. The batteries are dead. Oh no, they're not. All right, so we're doing gray to green. Wait a second. Oh, this gray. I knew I had this right. We're going brown, gray, green, black. And then green to gray and brown. Or just gray, sorry. All right, and of course, forgot to put the frickin' shrink wrap on. Idiot. Let's see if maybe I can. Hey, Rye. Rye, can you bring me my phone? It's on the counter up there. So then the gray, positive, blue and white goes to gray positive. Again, these are the channels, be the center and left and right rear outputs. So we need to use the inputs, but ours is going to go to the subwoofer. So hope that makes sense. It does to me anyway. I think the best thing you could do is call up Sound and Motion. All right, so we got all the wires in here. I'm gonna tuck them underneath, I think. Tucking the factory harnesses in first, and then our wiring second. I want it to be nice and clean. These wires are going to have to get tucked here in a few when I bring those other wires out. Okay, so now we're ready to do the home run to the amp. Might as well put one of these on here. This is the remote. Tells the amp when to turn on and off.